would like to wish Toby a happy birthday. So let's Toby?
Who are you?
Well, I'm very happy to be here tonight. In fact, I'm very happy to be anywhere. But anywhere is the where that I am. It's the good where I'm feeling.
Yes.
That's what counts.
Especially if you're with
Wow,
us.
this is such a rare moment. I hope you all experience it. I used to be the youngest kid in the class, and the youngest kid in the club in the room, and all of a sudden I turned around. And I had changed a little bit, but here I am, and it's great seeing all you. Thank you to the Mendocino Arts Center for allowing this event to occur here. Let's thank them if any of them are here. And I want it to be your celebration as well as mine. So what I hope to do is get involved with some of you in different ways. Coming up, if you have anything to say, you can say it whenever you want to say it. We'll keep it very informal, and
We'll
have some fun.
poetry.
We'll have some fun. So Nancy and Brian are going to, I have 3 books here. 2 of them are called geriatric poems. I mean, 1, 2, 3. And the other one is compositions for my 99th birthday. I've been doing these for my, did I say 99?
You did.
Wow.
You have a few more years to write a few more.
Yeah, maybe wishful thinking, but we'll see what happens. So if Nancy and Brian would come up, we're going to read a few poems. Kind of like a shadow or an echo, sometimes catching up, sometimes falling behind, and maybe if you're really industrious and doing a 3rd voice or maybe a 4th voice. In all symphonies and all classical music, you hear fugues happening all the time. So that's the essential part, and sometimes each voice is dealing with a different theme, a different idea or concept. So sometimes you can follow just one voice and get one stream of it, but then at all times, the 3 voices, let's say, and I write a lot for 3, the 3 voices are always intertwining like that painting there where I've got all the bar lines intertwining. So here we go. And I'm going to try and flavor it with humor because, I've been talking about moving on, and I've been talking about passages and so on and so forth. So that's been, it usually is with old people. Most of you know about it. I'm talking more to myself these days.
I'm talking more to myself.
I'm talking
more to myself.
I'm talking more to myself these days.
I'm talking on the inside
and on the outside.
More to myself these days. These days, to myself.
It's all talk. It's all conversation.
It's all talk.
All conversation.
And I seem to be
listening
listening
more carefully these days.
90 years ago.
On this day,
On
90
this day.
years ago,
90 years and more ago,
My mother was pregnant with me.
very pregnant.
my mom was
Sweet treasured soul.
my mom.
There were 3 ahead of me.
There were 3
I'm talking,
And dear mom
ahead of me.
and I'm talking more.
had had enough.
I'm talking more to myself.
And dear mom had had enough.
More to myself these days.
So she called Bill Secord, a dear friend
Talking on the inside
So she called Belle Secord,
and a pharmacist,
and on the outside.
a dear friend,
and asked her
and a pharmacist,
what she could do
and asked her
It's all talk.
to send me away.
It's all conversation.
what she might do
Bell suggested
And I seem to be listening
to send me away.
more carefully.
she climb on the kitchen table.
Belle suggested.
I'm talking more to
I'm
myself
talking
these
more
I'm
days.
talking more to myself these days.
And jumped to the floor.
She climbed on the kitchen table.
Talking on the inside
Mom did as suggested and jumped.
and on the outside.
And jumped to the floor.
And sprained her ankle.
It's all talk.
Mom did as suggested.
It's all conversation.
And jumped.
Then Bell said,
It's all talk.
And sprained her ankle.
take a ride on a rutty road.
Then Belle said,
It's all conversation.
And there were plenty of rutty dirt roads
take a ride on a rough dirt road.
90 years ago.
And I seem to be listening more
And
carefully.
And I seem to be listening more carefully these days.
But that didn't help either.
Same results.
For here I am.
Here I am.
Still in love with life.
Still in love with that dear lady who failed to do me in.
Or is it out? I'm talking more to myself these days. Talking on the inside.
And on the outside.
And
I seem to be listening. To be listening. Listening
more carefully. My wife is beaming back there. They're not going to throw me out. We're going to have fun. Because after we've done some of our things, I'm going to ask if anyone wants to come up and do one with me, you know.
Carolyn told me she wanted to.
Improvise. Huh?
Carolyn told me she wanted to do one.
Which Carolyn? There are 3 Carolyns here.
There are?
Carolyn.
I only know one.
Oh, okay. That one. So, we go on. It's coming. It's practically here.
It's coming.
Now it's here.
It's practically
is
here.
coming.
And now it's gone. But it's here.
Now it's here.
It's practically here.
Don't you feel it?
Now it's gone.
Now it's here.
But it's here.
Look around.
Look around.
But it's here.
I welcome you here.
But it's here.
And now it's gone.
Don't you feel it?
Don't you feel it?
Isn't that the
way it goes?
Often it comes.
It comes.
And it comes in a moment.
And it comes.
So suddenly gone and forgotten
So suddenly gone.
by those
And forgotten.
So suddenly
who are forgotten too.
By those
gone.
who are forgotten too.
By those who are forgotten
who
too.
are
By those who are
forgotten
forgotten too.
Gone and forgotten.
but never forgotten.
Forgotten.
And now we're here
And
And,
now,
in this sacred moment,
we're here.
and now we're here.
and you are here to celebrate
And you are here.
And you
with me
To celebrate.
are here.
again.
To celebrate.
Are here.
With me
And you.
this special moment.
No less for you
This special moment.
than for me.
No less for you
And now it's here.
Dear souls from everywhere
than for me.
No less for you.
and from yourselves.
Dear souls from everywhere.
This special moment,
Than for me.
And from yourselves.
a celebration no less
No
for you
less for
than
you
for
than for
me.
me.
No less than for you than for me.
Bless you all on this day,
Bless you all.
sprung from eternity.
On this day.
Bless you all.
Of this moment,
Sprung from the eternity.
On this day.
Of this moment.
Sprung from the eternity of this moment.
sprung from the eternity of this moment.
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 Protect and love yourselves. I say protect and love yourselves. And love yourselves. And protect those who love you. We have one more. It's called. By the way, I don't want to pass up on the opportunity to mention to those of you who are my friends from Fort Bragg, Mendocino, hereabouts, and those who don't know, that I have a lot of family here. I have a son from Mexico with his lady, Roanne. I have a stand. That's what they stand. That's a good idea. Stand. I have another son from right close to Ojai. There he is. Yes. Sit down. And I have a dear daughter who came all the way from the Fiji Islands. She lives on an island that was once owned by Raymond Burr, who was purchased by someone who later joined her spiritual community, which exists on the island, and gave the island to the group. And so it's a small island. There are 200 Fijians who live on one end, and about 60 in her spiritual community that live on the other end. And she adores the life she's leading there. It's been so good for her. And she's so bright and light and pure. You got to stand again after that. Well, that's true. Nancy just, by the way, Nancy is a dear friend too. I met Nancy at the second showing of my art in 1983 or 4.
I can't remember.
30, I think it was 30 years ago.
Jessa thinks she was 8 there, and she's 38, so
Stand up,
do
yes.
the math.
And we have become dear friends, all of us, all the members. In fact, well, I won't tell about that one. It didn't work anyway. It's been great being a part of their greater family, and oh, I'm sorry.
That's right.
This should have been the first person that I introduced. what was your name? Brian? Brian belongs to Nancy, and they both belong to me. I had a group when we lived in Alameda called the East Bay
Choral Ensemble. No.
Yeah, and we did this kind of stuff, and then of course, I mean, once you start, then you're in trouble because I've got grandchildren and
Your ex-wife?
yeah.
Don't forget.
Maybe everybody I know should stand up and introduce themselves. I don't know who the hell they are. I don't recognize a face. You're 90 years old, you can say that and get away with it. 90 fucking years old.
What an inspiration you are to all of us.
I hope I'm doing
Is he not an inspiration, everyone?
Well, that's good because most people who inspire others are outgoing.
But you're more shy.
But I would like to mention, now I haven't done this in a long time. I always like to chest dip my age in numbers. And if you will pick me up, I'll get down on the ground.
I'll be happy.
Chest dip my age, and I'll start the count. You don't think I can do it?
We don't want you to try.
I don't think you need to do it. You don't need to prove anything.
What we're going to do with one arm?
I'm tired just thinking of
Listen,
it.
I don't really have to do it because I had so much fun practicing the last few days.
Yeah.
I know I can do it. Just take my word for it. This is a real complaint, and it hasn't disturbed me in the least. In fact, I'm enjoying the process. There are processes when, well, most of you know. I mean, other than a few of the kids, 90% of you are senior citizens.
Oh, shut up.
You're pretty old. I'll bet the average age here, by the way, in the third row is a dear man. His name is Bob. And I wrote a poem in it. I think you will be mentioned in the poem because I knew that there would be only one person here older than myself. Stand up, Bob. Raise your personally, Bob is 90. Bob, you're 93 and you're still working out at the club, and his mind is, well, it's damn near as sharp as mine. We have a lot of fun together. That's the only person I know who's older than myself. But there are five or six of you who are borderline. I see that. I won't mention any names. So this poem is called Losing Language. I've been complaining about losing language since I can't remember.
I've been complaining.
I've been complaining about losing language
So it must have been
since I can't remember.
About losing
a
language.
very long time,
So it must have been
or a very short time,
a very long time.
Since I can remember.
if one agrees
So it must have been
Or a very short time.
a very long time.
that there is
If one agrees
such a thing
Or a very short time.
that there is.
If one agrees
as time.
that there is
That
such a
there
thing.
is such a
That there
thing
is such a thing
as time.
As time.
20 years ago seems like the same
20 years ago.
as 30 or 40 years ago.
I've been complaining
Seems the same.
There is no way of measuring
There is no way
about losing
a
language
period of time
of measuring
other than with memory.
since I can't remember.
A period of time.
And there is no way at all
Other than with memory.
of measuring memory.
So it must have been
And there is
No way at all.
of measuring memory.
Memory measuring.
Measuring memory.
All I can say, and I'll say it,
All I can say,
is that I've been
and
complaining
I'll say it,
All I can say.
about losing language
is that I've been complaining
And I'll say it.
since I can remember.
about losing language
So it must have been
Is that I've been complaining
since I can remember.
about losing language.
a very long time.
So it must have been
Since I can
a
remember.
very long time.
So it must have been a
So it
very
must have
long
been a
time.
So it
very
must
long
have
time.
been a very long time.
Or a short time.
I believe
I believe
I believe I should clarify about
losing.
language.
When I lose what I lose,
When I lose
what remains
what I lost,
is enough.
when I lose
what remains
what I lose.
is enough.
What remains
What
is enough.
remains is enough.
What remains is enough.
When I lost what I lose,
And I
What I lose.
what I lose. But if I'm patient, what I've lost
If I'm patient,
returns to me.
what I've lost
but if I'm patient,
Not necessarily in its original form,
returns to me.
what I've lost
Not necessarily
returns to me.
but in a form
in its original form,
Not necessarily
just as interesting and colorful.
but in a form
in its original form,
just as interesting
but in a form
and colorful.
just as interesting and colorful.
Perhaps so that the original
Perhaps more so
Perhaps
than the original.
So when I complain
More
about
so.
losing language,
So when I complain
than the original.
about losing language,
So when I complain
since I can't remember,
that I've been losing language,
since I can't remember,
since I can't remember, just ignore me.
I have a friend here. He's a crazy man, and I love him because he's authentically crazy. When I act crazy, I'm faking it. Sean, come on up.
Right. Yeah, thanks. Settle down.
Sean, you're not going to do anything crazy, are you?
No, I'm going to do something crazy here with him.
That wouldn't be right, would it?
Yeah, that wouldn't be anything else but crazy.
You're not the sort of person that would take advantage of me,
Absolutely not.
even if you had the opportunity.
Oh, wait a minute. I presume I do have the opportunity all the time.
Anytime you want. So I wrote this book in the late 70s. So we're going back. What you heard now was written very recently. And I used to come up to Fort Bragg quite frequently. And I spent some time in Cleon. And it's called The Beach at Cleon. And I wrote it over a 5-day period, each day being a complete unit within itself. And we're not going to read the entire Beach at Cleon, but Sean came up here to do some recording with me. He's a recording artist. And I'm sure you recognize him.
I did. I did too.
And he came up and I was having difficulty finding duets because most of my stuff is for 3, 4, 5 voices. And, but I had this book, The Beach at Cleon, and I thought, well, I'm going to run it by him.
I sat up all night reading it. It's just an extraordinary journey about discovering knowledge just before passing into another world. And it's a really interesting search, you know.
I'm still searching.
Yeah, I know. So keep on.
Are you still searching?
Yeah, keep on.
Anybody in this room still searching?
Yeah, well, we can search right through this. I'm telling you.
Okay, so I hope your searches are successful searches. Beach at Cleon. My mind is drifting.
My mind is drifting.
The air is still.
The air is still.
A fly annoys my body.
A fly annoys my body.
I strike it.
I strike it.
It returns.
It returns.
I am on the beach
I'm on the
at
beach
Cleon.
at Cleon.
The sea a low hum.
The sea is a low hum.
I am naked.
I'm naked.
Who cares?
Who cares? It's all so unimportant.
And yet, I turn the page.
You turn the page.
I turn the page.
You turn the page.
Repeat me.
Repeat me.
It is all
so unimportant.
And yet, she died beautifully.
She died beautifully.
No fear.
No fear.
A wise smile.
A wise smile.
Returning to where
she began.
And beyond.
And beyond.
I rest a while.
I rest a while
on the sand. At the beach in Cleon.
At the beach in Cleon.
A bird calls.
A bird calls.
And yet, it is all so unimportant. When she died, she didn't die.
She didn't die.
Just went back.
Went back.
Back.
And beyond.
A little lunch.
A tuna
A
sandwich.
banana.
An orange.
I run on the beach.
A run.
Alone.
Alone.
And yet, I've been here before.
I have been here before.
So quiet on the bed.
So quiet on the bed.
Give us some urine.
Give us some urine.
And she tried.
She tried.
But now gazing. She has the knowledge.
She has the knowledge.
She is almost there.
She's almost there.
She is there.
She is there.
And yet,
we love each other.
we love each other.
We hate each other.
We hate each other.
There is envy.
There is envy.
There is greed.
There is greed.
We whisper.
We whisper.
We don't hear.
There is nothing to hear. There is nothing not
There's
to
nothing
hear.
not to hear.
Goodbye, little lady.
Goodbye, little lady.
She waited for her last child.
For her last child.
And now she knows.
And now she knows.
And yet, another. The pain.
The pain. It is all so unimportant.
But why?
And yet. But why?
Have I been here before?
But why?
Foot in the sand.
And yet.
Fears.
But why?
I wonder.
And yet.
I look around.
But why?
My shirt in the sand.
And yet.
A bottle half buried.
But why?
A logging truck.
And yet.
Clouds on the horizon.
But why?
I'm uneasy.
And yet.
Sucking my pencil.
But why?
And yet.
Does it really matter?
But why?
Does anyone care?
And yet.
I wonder.
But why?
I look around.
And yet.
I sit up.
But why?
A bottle half buried.
And yet.
Have I been here before?
Not me.
Not me.
It
is all so unimportant.
My mind is drifting.
My mind is drifting.
The air is
The
still.
air is still.
A fly annoys
A
my
fly
body.
annoys my body.
I strike
at it.
It returns.
It returns.
I am on the beach.
I am on the beach at Cleon.
The sea a low hum.
The sea a low hum.
I'm naked.
I'm naked.
Who cares?
Who cares?
It is all
so unimportant.
She looked beautiful.
She looked beautiful when she died.
And yet. So we'll do, was it okay? Worth hearing the last movement? Jan is here. Jan, my first wife.
Stand up.
And I think my second wife is here too. I don't remember that.
While I'm standing, I would like to acknowledge Lisa and Roma and Nancy for that wonderful spread.
Yay.
So then, Jan, I wanted to mention, you know, that writing was about your mom. Yes. That was a while ago, wasn't it? I want to talk a little bit about my paintings because they're a very important part of my work. I think if I had to choose one thing to do, it would be writing over painting and over music. But the fortunate thing is that all three are connected. And there's no way in my mind that they can be unconnected. There are scores under here, things happening under the canvas, and then a little poetry, and some of the poetry you see is etched in. I just use a tool and etch it in. I can't read it quickly, but consider nothing in the realm of everything. One must believe in nothing, in which case nothing is something, if anything. And here we are at the end of another ending, which is everything. And so the text, normally when I'm writing poetry, I would take that text and start playing. Whoops. Very good. Thank you. That scared me so much that I have to have a drink. So we'll do the last movement. Because I think it works by itself. This is movement number 5. This is the fifth part.
This is the fifth part.
This is the 5th day.
There are 5 women.
There are 2 voices.
I am counting again.
And the number is 10.
All numbers are 10.
This is a brief summation,
of
what I have said and why.
It is all so unimportant.
And yet, something needed to be said.
Something.
Is it understood?
Does it have a meaning?
Does it have a meaning?
Is it understood?
By whom?
And for whom?
Today I gathered garbage.
Today I gathered garbage from the beach at Cleon.
Today I am clothed.
Today I'm clothed.
The sun has had too much of me.
The sun
The air is still.
has had too much
The sea alone.
of me.
I am alone.
The air is
In my
still.
thoughts.
The sea a hum.
Wondering
I am alone.
if something needs to be said.
In my thoughts,
If I have said it.
wondering
And if it will be understood.
if something needs to be said.
It is all so unimportant.
If I have said it,
It is all so unimportant.
and if it will be understood,
I've been here before.
it's all so unimportant.
I have learned
I have learned
about the women in my life,
about the women in my life,
about their suffering,
their suffering,
about how death
about death
From
from
one
another, watching her
let go. I have learned the lesson
that we must die in order to live.
That was her proudest moment.
And I've been here before,
She waited for her last
and
child.
I have been here
Her
before,
body so frail.
and I have been here before,
And when she died,
and I have been here before.
she didn't die.
I've been here,
And I've been here.
Before.
Before.
Just went
And
back.
I've been here before.
And now she knows.
Now we all know.
But we don't know.
Shortly I will get
Shortly
up,
I will get up,
take my towel and garbage,
take my body,
and depart this beach.
and yet,
I will not be missed.
and yet,
The beach will never mention my name.
and yet,
Persons will not mention my name. I may wonder
and yet,
if I was ever here.
and yet,
But why?
I may forget.
But why?
It's all so unimportant.
But why?
But I am on the beach at Cleon.
But why?
My 5th day here,
But why?
clothed against the sun.
But why?
No birds today.
But why?
The sky is
The
blue.
sea aloha.
The sea aloha.
My mind is drifting.
My mind is drifting.
Have I said it before?
Have I said it?
Is it understood?
Is it understood?
Who cares?
Who cares? It is all so unimportant.
And yet,
But why?
and yet,
But why?
and yet,
But why?
so, anybody want to say anything? This is your turn.
It's so
Anybody
nice.
want to say anything?
Bravo.
Or ask a
I'd just like to
question?
say, I'm a musician, and what I just heard was the most beautiful music. The timing of your two voices worked so well together. Really, I heard your vision of counterpoint in the words, and I heard the vowels and the music of the way you work together was really a counterpoint of not only the combination between meaning and music. I love it.
You're hearing Joel Andrews, whom I have known from the 50s. Not well, not intimately, but he lived up in Mountain Drive in Santa Barbara, which was a real bohemian hangout. And Joe became a harpist and has traveled the world with his harp. And it was Joe who entertained us with his harp the first hour.
Oh.
And Joe and I got reconnected about 10 years ago. I had a show of my paintings right here, Joe. The show was here in another gallery. And Joe came up to me and he said, what did you accurately say?
Well, it was something like, I can't remember it exactly because I'm losing memory like all of us, but it was something like, well.
Do you know someone?
I recognize you. And I said something like, well, your poetry sounds exactly like this friend I knew in Santa Barbara. And then you said to me, but I am Toby. So we
And he said to me, how do you know? And I said to him, I don't know. And he said to me, you better find out.
And you said it's all still unimportant.
Yeah. And I'm still working on it. So now I want to do something with all of you. This is great fun. And then Tony and Mother Bear, who are a part of a group that we have had for about 10 years. And they've been so loyal, they're so good, and we were supposed to meet here at 4:30 and 4:20, that's right, we changed it to 4:20. And then I got a message that Tony said, I'll be there before 4:30, between 4:30 and 5. So I figured, okay, that means Tony will be here at 5:15. And so when they arrived finally, I said, you don't really need to see it. But I mean, it sure helps to see it, but they're gonna be reading it cold in a little bit, and
I'm excited.
you could never guess that they were gonna do that. So, I used to play the song game, and I just wanna see, my guess is that most of you can get with many of these songs. I wanted to be an opera singer, and I won't go through that whole thing, but I studied voice a lot and realized I didn't like opera, and began singing a lot of ballads. And I love the old ballads. So what I'd like to do is do a sing-along, a Mitch Miller thing, maybe.
Wow.
I'll do the first line of the song, and then you do the second line. And I'll go back to the old stuff. I don't want to set the world on fire.
I just want to start a flame in your heart.
That's it, in my heart I have but one desire. And that one is you, no other will do. What's a bridge? I've lost all permission for worldly claim. I just want to be the one you love. And with your permission, if you feel the same, I'll have reached the goal I'm dreaming of. I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. Okay, let's try another one. We'll start with the letter A because of the alphabet. At last my love has come along. My lonely heart the night you came along. Well, I didn't get much help on that one. Here's a great one. Toodle-lama lama, toodle-lama lama, toodle-la-yay. In the umbrellas, to fix today. Bring your parasol, it's very small, it may be big. Keep a parasol with what you call a thingamajig. Right. How about this one? This was a great ballad. Let's build a stairway to the stars. I used to sing this with a band, Afro-American band, below the public market in Seattle. Go down some stairs, and I was the only white dude there, and I used to sing this song. This was one of my favorite ones. It's a Perry Como song. Alone from night to night you'll find me. I'm amazed. Is it memory? Is it probably?
No, it's just your old.
What?
Pick a good song like Dozy Doze.
Okay, here we go. Ups it frogs and on the ring raw and the frog Outside is their dream. Hearts are frozen on the river and the brawl. Hearts are frozen and the brawl. All right. I must confess. I'm very disappointed. Now, Joe, you particularly, you're a few years older than me, aren't you?
Me?
Me?
I just want to report what you haven't told them is that you were once on the 64th $4,000 question because your incredible memory of these songs.
Okay.
Maybe you need to do something from the Beatles.
Yeah.
And then you'll get the whole crowd.
Who are the Beatles? All right, this one was on the Lucky Strike hit parade for more weeks than any song on record. And how many of you remember the Lucky Strike hit parade?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that hand is trembling.
Yeah.
Well, this was on the hit parade longer than any song for 172 weeks on the hit parade, the non-stop. Do you remember the hit parade?
Yes.
The camel. So this is the song. See if you know this. If you know it, stand up and do the second line so we know you're not cheating. Okay. Red sails in the sunset. Where I see. There, Jan. Home safely. He sailed at the dawning. Sunset. My God, the ignorance of This is the last one. That was me.
Mitch Miller was a lot better than you. You said Mitch Miller, right?
I don't happen to agree with you much.
You never do, that's why.
Well, because you're too disagreeable.
You've said that before.
So this is. Oh, we did Red Sails in the Sea. Did anybody remember Kate Kaiser in the College of Musical Knowledge?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you've heard that.
Kate.
Now, that's what he's for sure. Well, Kate Kaiser, the one that they did on Kate Kaiser, the children. Down there in the itty bitty White Street. Mother fishy too. Tell Mother fishy to him if you can. And they swam all over the day. Oh, did that water shoot? Oh, did that water shoot? Oh, did that water shoot? And he swam all over the day.
Couple more comments. People like to comment.
Comment?
Yes. Would like to talk for a minute?
He would like to sit, this gentleman.
Actually, I'd like to
and
donate my time.
This is a sweet song. I mean, I would love to be able to acknowledge all of you, because you come from such different facets of our life too. There are those of you who I'm really grateful to have in my life. You Let's do some poetry.
She wanted to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
No,
want to
please.
donate my time to my wife because she wanted to say something. It's not Congress.
Yes, of course.
So, as my husband knows, I'm somewhat egocentric. And so I'm thinking about how we've known each other now for 30 years. And that my daughter is now the age I was when we met. And that you really formed a lot of my perceptions of what art and poetry are. And I think about my daughter being 8 years old and so open and malleable. And how normal all of this is to me and new at the same time.
The second showing of my art that I had was in 83 or 84.
I'm gonna say it was 85, the
And-
opening of the
And you
gallery.
were,
8.5.
she was 8.5, and that's when I met her and her mom, Nancy, who read with us at first. All right, so you can sit down, Nancy.
I'm Jessica.
This is Jessica and Nancy.
People always think I'm Nancy, so I thought maybe you got confused for a second. When you said sit down, Nancy.
I'm confused.
Not you, no.
Anyway, it was very quickly, it was a showing of art, and then I wanted to do a response poem, and I asked if someone would like to do it, and I think you just came up and did it.
Yeah,
That was 30 years ago.
yeah.
And I see if you can get the drift of this, huh? Shall we reenact it?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, I said to her, repeat after me. Well,
Ba,
Baba.
ba, ba,
Ba, ba, ba, ba.
ba, 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 ba.
Mo.
Ba-oh.
Oh.
Oh.
It.
It. Oh. Uh-oh. You didn't say it last time.
No, I got her to say bullshit, but so when she was a child, I couldn't get her to do it because every time I went, it, she pointed at me and said, right?
Here is how it went.
Oh, it didn't go that way?
Ish. So, you said, when your mom takes you to the store, when your mom takes you to the store, I'm playing both of us now, and she asks you what you want, and she asks you what you want.
I can play my part.
Oh, you play it. And you say nothing.
And I say nothing.
That's really bullshit.
Bullshit.
And I would not say that. I would. And he tried many times, and he finally did get me with the piece that you just saw. You got me, and that part that I did was the
You
part
see,
that I
well,
did.
we don't necessarily get smarter when we get older.
Wiser.
I'm an exception to the case. Let's do it. So, what we're going to do is a little more poetry, but it would be great if you come up and we'll do a group thing. Tim?
No.
You're not leaving, are you?
No.
Okay. I'm watching you.
Never give me up.
Okay, let's put this over here. Thank you. Tony and Mother Marilyn have been performing with me for a long time. We've had a lot of fun doing things, and so tonight we're going to read a geriatric poem too.
Oh, good. And just to say, I was here by 5. Just to clear that all up.
I was here at 4:20.
4:20.
I was too.
That wasn't my appointed
He wasn't here yet.
It's true, I wasn't here, because I figured we didn't need to help each other. You can see where my head has been because it's interesting, it's fascinating to grow old. I remember someone said, when I wake up in my bed, I'm 18 years old. And when I go into the bathroom and look in the mirror, I'm an old man. But that doesn't work with me. When I wake up, I'm 18 years old. And when I go in the bathroom, I see that all the mirrors are broken.
I'm 3.
You're 3, yeah. When it's over, it's over.
When it's over,
No life,
it's over.
ands,
No ifs,
or buts.
ands, or buts.
When it's over, it's over.
When it's over, it's over. When it's over, when it's over,
no ifs,
and
or buts.
we say,
And so it seems,
and so
it
it seems,
it must be.
and so it must be,
When it's over,
and so it must be,
at least for those who believe
at least for those
one way.
who believe
Who
one
believe
way or
one
the
way
other.
Or the other.
When it's over, it's over.
Or when it's over, it's just begun.
And for those who have no idea,
And for those
there is the
who
wonder
have no idea.
and the wait.
Excuse me, this is a duet.
I'm
sorry.
saying you forgot to put.
It's over.
Well, in that case, let's move it over.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, you just go on
We'll
and.
lose to Tony next time around. It's just
I'm
begun.
waiting up, but usually it's only
And
one.
for those who have no
And
idea,
for those
there is the
who
wonder
have no idea,
and the wait.
there is the wonder
There,
and the wait.
there is the wonder and the wait.
These are the thoughts which pass through me.
These are the thoughts
I once said,
which pass through
as
me.
I approach
I once said,
middle age,
and these are the thoughts
and
which
these
pass
are the
through
thoughts
me.
which pass through me.
The thoughts
These are
which pass through me
the thoughts
as I approach
which pass through me.
that unknown place
As I approach
beyond time.
that unknown place.
A new reality for the
A
believer.
new reality
A barren nothingness
for the believer.
for the
A
disbeliever.
very nothingness for the disbeliever.
He said, it takes as much faith
He said,
to disbelieve
it takes as much faith
as to believe.
to disbelieve
And I say,
as to believe.
it takes a hell of a lot more courage.
When it's over,
There are the thoughts
it's over.
which pass through me.
No ifs, ands, or buts. I once said,
We
as
say,
I approach middle age,
and so it seems,
and these are the thoughts
and so it must be,
which pass through me.
at least for those who believe,
As I approach that unknown place,
one way or the other, one way or the other,
a new reality for those who believe.
and for those who have no idea,
A barren nothing.
it takes as much faith
It takes as
to
much faith
disbelieve
to
as
believe
to believe.
as to disbelieve.
And I believe
And I believe
firmly,
staunchly,
hopefully, I believe, I disbelieve,
as I await
the wonder,
the mystery,
and
the
the
knowledge.
knowledge.
I believe. Now I have a trio there. This is called, by the way, Joe, who was a son-in-law of Alan Watts. You might remember when Alan Watts made that statement. He said, it takes as much faith to disbelieve as to believe. That's what Alan Watts said. Yes, this has 3 contemplations. To go away.
To go away forever,
What will it feel like to go
What will
away
it feel
forever?
like to go away forever?
This may seem strangely curious,
This may seem
but there's something
strangely curious,
about growing old
but there's something
chronologically
about growing old
that excites the
that excites
imagination.
the imagination.
To go away forever. What will it feel like to go
What
away?
will it
Forever.
feel like
What
to
will
go
it
away
feel
forever?
like to go away forever?
This may seem strangely curious,
This may seem
but there's something
strangely
about
curious,
growing old
but there's
chronologically
something
This may seem
that excites the imagination.
about growing old chronologically
strangely
that
curious,
excites the imagination.
but there's something
That excites the imagination.
about growing old that
About
excites
growing
the
old
imagination.
that excites the imagination.
That excites
That
the
excites the
imagination.
imagination.
The imagination.
Next to being born,
I would imagine next to being born,
I would imagine that dying
I would imagine
could be
next to being born,
the most illuminating
I would
event.
imagine
that dying could
that
be
dying could be
The most illuminating
the
event
most
of
illuminating
one's life.
event.
the most
one's life.
illuminating event of one's life.
What will it feel like
To go away forever.
What will it feel like to go away forever?
Forever.
To go away,
What will it feel like?
Forever.
forever being
Forever.
as staggering
Being
Forever.
and
as
incomprehensible
staggering
Being
a thought
and incomprehensible.
as staggering.
as eternity.
A thought.
For isn't one, this may seem strangely curious,
This may seem
but there's something
strangely curious,
about growing old
This may seem
but there's something
that excites the imagination.
strangely curious,
about growing old
but there's something
that excites the imagination.
All staggering thoughts, but thoughts
All staggering thoughts.
staggering thoughts.
we need not concern ourselves over.
We need not
We
concern
need not
ourselves
concern
about.
ourselves about.
But wouldn't it be remarkable
Wouldn't it
if we awaken
be remarkable
from this sleep
But wouldn't it
if we awakened
into a paradise
be
from
remarkable
this sleep
of sorts?
into a paradise
if we
I'm
awakened
not sure
of sorts?
from this sleep
I would be welcome there.
I'm not sure.
into a paradise of sorts?
What would it feel like
to
to
go away forever? Forever. I'm not sure I'd be
I'm not
welcome
sure
there.
I would be
Sure, I
welcome
would be
there.
welcome there.
Still, it's curiously exciting
Still,
to continue
it's curiously exciting
knowing
to continue
that every step
Still, it seems strangely exciting
knowing
is a step closer.
that every step
to continue
is a step closer
knowing that every step
to the end.
is a step closer
Is
to
a
the
step
end.
closer to the end. To
To
the end.
The
To the
end
end of what?
This illusion of life
And the beginning of what?
The
end.
So I'm going to do one more with my ladies, and then perhaps
His ladies.
with the team, with the girls, with the girls.
Your
Come on,
ladies.
hit me, Brian.
Your ladies.
All right. So this one is called, and this will be the last one because I can see they're getting restless.
Oh, the natives restless. The natives are restless. The natives are restless.
Okay, this is called talking. I'm talking more to myself these days.
I'm talking more to myself.
I'm talking.
I'm talking more to myself.
I'm talking more to myself these days.
I'm talking
on the inside.
And on the outside.
more to myself these days. These days, to myself.
It's all talk. It's all conversation.
It's all talk.
All conversation.
And I seem
To be listening.
More carefully these days.
Yeah.
That is the funniest thing because it's all familiar to me. I'm saying the same thing over and over again.
You did losing language
Forward.
too.
Oh, I did this
So
one
how
too.
about this?
Concerts all the time.
My point being that we're all the same age. We all live and die in the same moment. What separates one moment from the other is eternity. Nothing. We're in all of it. There is no age. How could there be age if there is no time?
There is no age.
But that's debatable.
How could there be age?
There is no age. No age.
We all came here
If there is no time.
from somewhere,
But that's debatable.
How could there be age?
We all came here
and that takes time.
from somewhere,
If there is no time,
So there must be time.
and that takes time.
But passing time?
So there must be time.
but that's debatable. That's debatable.
We all came here
We
from
all
somewhere.
came here from somewhere.
And that's debatable too.
There is
There
no
is
age.
no age.
And that's debatable too.
But passing time.
Time passing.
That's a matter for future discussion.
And that's another matter
And if there's no future, if there is a future,
for future discussion.
there must be a past
And if there's a future,
from which it came.
there must be a past.
There is no age.
We're
all the same age.
But that's another matter.
But that's
for
another
further
matter for
discussion.
future discussion.
And if there is a future,
And if
there must be a past.
there's a future,
And if
From which it came.
there must be a past.
there's a future,
And history and change
From which it came,
there must be a past
are elements of time.
and history and movement.
from which it came.
How could anyone dispute this?
Are elements of time.
And history.
An English scientist proclaims
How could anyone dispute this?
that there is only now
And movement.
and all the other nows.
How
could anyone dispute this?
Only now,
And all the other nows.
and this is now, and we are in it.
And this is now.
And I've been in it longer than anyone in this room,
And I've been in it
There is no age.
except for one dear friend,
longer than anyone,
probably in the front row.
except for one dear friend.
If there is no
And
time,
I'm looking ahead
Probably in the front row.
to another age,
there is no age.
which is effortless.
Which is effortless if there is no age. If there is no age. And that's debatable too.
Thank you, those who support and appreciate and love what I'm doing. And I want to do one more thing. Peter, are you here in the room? Yeah, Peter, Thank you.
Excuse me, can I just say one
Oh,
little
God,
thing?
yes.
One little thing.
Oh, yes.
I just want to thank you for a decade of working with you. The honor and the magic that it has meant to me is beyond my own words. And I want to wish you a really amazing, special, magic birthday and tell you how much I love you and think of you and miss you. And I'm so pleased that I can be here. Hope you celebrate.
What a gift that is. Thank you. Okay. Peter and I've known each other for quite a while, and Peter is a first-rate musician, an outstanding piano player, and a conductor. He conducted the world premiere of my Symphony on the Holocaust in Evanston on September 20th, 2012. And I've written a lot of my stuff is actually scored like music. Got all these lovely faces out there. I wrote in my, I finished my journal today. I wanted to finish it on my birthday. I like to do things like that. I also finished 89 and beyond each year of my life. I write poetry and expand. And what I said in the journal, the last day of my life, what the hell did I say? Oops.
In your journal, it's on the last thing.
Tell me what I said. I said it's just been great being in your lives and having you in mine, all of you, family and dear friends. It's great. It's very touching seeing you all here, sharing. 9 years old, dude. I used to think that was old. I had no idea. It was so young. Incredible. Carolyn and I, I'm so happy to have this celebration. The night before last, Carolyn and I were in bed talking after we just made love for the third time. I said to her, maybe we should just do a smaller thing, knowing goddamn well that I didn't want to do it. And thank you, everyone who's come this distance to be with me. I cry over commercials if they're poorly done. I'm feeling joyous and happy and grateful to be able to cry. Thank you all for being here. Oh, yes. Well, I want to do this. This will give you an idea of the kind of stuff I was doing some years ago. And there are duets and trios here.
I didn't get my glasses. That's why I was asking if we were going to do it, but I'll squint.
You farsighted?
Yes.
So the few
With
that
astigmatism, that's the problem.
well, then, shall I go like this while I'm doing it to adjust you?
Astigmatism. Thanks anyway. Very kind.
This was the first work that I did for my voice rhythmically like this, and it was called Fugue and Variations. Speak with precision, never make thee
with
omit
precision,
but if you should find that speaking's not for you, speaking's not for you, then I offer this advice
if you should
to
find
you.
that speaking's not for you,
Speaking's not for you. Look around, look around, look around, look around.
offer this advice.
What do you see? What do you see? What do you see?
Look around.
What do you see? What do you see?
Look
What do you see?
Look around.
See.
Round.
See. What do you? See.
Round.
What do you?
What do you?
See.
Round.
Look
Look
round.
Round.
What do you see?
Look around.
What do you see?
Look
Round.
what do you see?
Look
What
around.
do you see?
Look up. Rest.
What do
Speak
you see?
with
What do you see?
precision.
Never.
What do you see? What do you see?
Never,
What do you
never,
see?
Look around. Look around.
Omission.
Look around.
What do you?
But
What do you?
if you should
What do you
find
see?
that speaking is
Not for you.
then I
Then I
It's
offer
advice to
this
you.
advice to you. Look around. Feel love. You know, we both blew it here and there, but you didn't know that.
That was good.
You're right on every moment.
Do your sunglasses?
no.
This is called,
Yeah, I do need it, but it's okay.
this involves the interweavings, triplets and four beats and so on. It's called duet. Have I ever told you? Have I ever told you? Have I ever told you?
Have I ever,
Have I told?
ever,
Have I told? Have I
told you?
Have I told you?
Have I told
Have I
you?
told you?
Have I
Have I?
have I?
Have I ever told you?
ever told you?
Have I told you? Have I?
Have I ever told you?
Told you?
Have I ever told you? Have I?
Have I ever?
Told you? Have I?
Ever? I ever? I ever? Have I ever?
Have I?
Have I
ever?
Have I ever told you? Have I told you?
Have I?
Told you? Have I?
That.
That
I.
that I
That I.
that I
That I.
that
I. That I.
I that I
Ever. Ever.
that I that I that I that I that I have I ever told you?
Have I
Ever told you that I ever told you that I
ever told you that
have I
that I
have I ever
that I
have I ever have I ever have I ever have told you that have I ever told you that I have I ever have
that I
told
you that I have I
told you
told you have I
told you ever
ever
told you ever have I told you ever
told you
have I
have I
have I
have I
have I ever told you? We're running out of time, so
We're never out of time. We're never out of time. There's no such thing as time. Anybody out there?
Anybody have it? How did you like that stuff? It's good. I've written thousands of pages. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 voices. It's there. It'll be your responsibility too. I want you to do well.
It's time for cake.
Cake.
And maybe we'll do a toast or two.
Cake.
Yeah, that's, I guess we've run over a little bit. God, it's been fun. And if I miss mentioning anyone that's here this should have special mention. I probably did it on purpose.